Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Republican voters carried the day in Hopkins County as Republican straight party balloting garnered 6,784 ballots. Democrat Party straight ballot voting was 1,749 ballots. Much of the focus in the local election, Commissioner Precinct 3. Incumbent Republican Wade Bartley defeated Democrat Billy Emerson. Bartley received 2,075 votes. Emerson received 1,124. The proposition that would add Hopkins County to the Paris Junior College District failed in Hopkins County, 7,164 against, 3,126 for. Only Lamar County approved the proposition to enter the Paris Junior College District during the Tuesday vote. All other counties, Delta, Fannin, Hunt, Red River, along with Hopkins, voted on the proposition and declined the invitation to join the district. The proposition called for an increase in property taxes for those counties entering the taxing district and would have allowed students living in those counties to receive an in-district rate. Lamar County voters approved the measure, 5,491 votes for and 4,576 against. In Delta County, 1,353 against, 664 for. In Fannin County, 583 votes for and 787 against. Hunt County cast 11,194 votes for, 16,275 votes against, and Red River County cast 1,739 votes for, 2,097 votes against. The city of Cumbie approved a quarter-cent sales tax, 69% for, 31% against. Cumbie Independent School District voters elected Tony Aguilar, Jason Hudson, and Jody Jarvis to their school board. North Hopkins voters elected Charlie Vaughn, Jim Westbrook, Vicki Farrell to their school board. And Miller Grove Independent School District voters elected Eric May, Douglas Hall, Clark May, and John Derek Wilbur to their school boards. Donald J. Trump carried Hopkins County with over 10,000 votes, and in the state School Board District 9 race, Republican Kevin Ellis received over 10,000 votes in Hopkins County, 75% of the vote actually, and he also carried the district. Major changes have taken place within the last 48 hours at State Highway 19 and I-30 intersection. From what was originally two stoplights at each end of the overpass has emerged a clover leaf-like design. At this point in the process, the road has been restriped into a total of 4 lanes where the outside lanes in each direction connect to the service road, eliminating the need for cross-traffic turning. The former stoplights currently function as yellow flashing lights and will later be removed. Understandably, the change has caused some confusion for local and non-local drivers alike. Semi-truck drivers seeking access to State Highway 19 South and Pilot and did not follow the signage solved their issue by using the parking lot at Hillcrest Drive office buildings and West Oak Funeral Home. Traffic cones were later placed in the driveways of these establishments, but made little difference as some just pushed the cones out of the way.
And we raised $8,648, so 142%.
And then like a couple thousand, that was a couple thousand more from what he reported about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he was over there, kept on raising. So thank you, Rusty. Good job. That's not an easy task to take on.
First time, you did a great.
According to Brandon Williams, campaign chair, $170,527 has been collected and reported to the Hopkins County United Campaign Fund during their Wednesday meeting at the AgriLife building in Sulphur Springs. The campaign has exceeded their $165,000 goal and expects more to be received, including another large contribution. Williams said the additional funds will be allocated based on percentages. Doug Haston covered the story for Channel 18 News.
Tommy Evans, they met their goal. D&B loan, they went over their goal. That was pretty big, $1,100
Awesome. Woo.
Continental Credit, they met their goal. Venus Nails, they met their goal just about. And the appraisal firm in Texas, they almost made their goal, so.
Awesome.
Outstanding. Good job.
Thank you, Frank.
Ross did about his packets and about 2 other sets of packets too, just rounding up and helping people out, so a lot of hard work. Appreciate it.
He's an overachiever.
No.
Runs in the family.
It has to be.
You want that second? No.
Yeah.
Pick up the slack on the rest of them.
Peer pressure.
Thank you.
Melita, you got anything?
Yeah, I've already turned them in. I had Water Oak Preschool, they met their goal. Janine's Country Cottage met her goal. And then I turned in Junior Waverly which was Marquita's packet.
Well, there's no cowbell, but if we had one, we'd be ringing it right now. So this week, let me back up. The first few meetings we had, we totaled, when we left here last week, $159,001. Today we added $11,526.11, which brings our total to $170,527.11. So with a goal of 165, that's absolutely amazing and exciting. And we still have more coming in. We still have a pretty good one that we're waiting on to come in too. Typically it's been a few $1,000s, so we're going to be well ahead. So anyway, that's exciting. Man, that feels good.
Yeah.
What do y'all want to do the rest of the day?
5,000 over, that's gotta make you feel pretty good.
Makes me feel awesome. We're excited. We're proud to be a part of it. Anyway, it's going to be a little more than that. We still have some packets out too. So, but in this meeting, 5,000 over is pretty special.
What do you do with that extra money?
Well, that's a great question. What we do, we reallocate it to the folks that are already allocated money based on the percentages that they've already been allocated. We redistribute every dollar accordingly to the folks that are already receiving the funds.
So you just bump it up a little bit.
That's right. Everybody's going to get a little money. Every dollar we make that's over our goal, everybody's going to get a little more money.
What's next?
You know what? I took the day off. I think I'm going to go home and lounge around and watch Netflix or something.
You have another opportunity to discover things in our downtown area with History by Foot, the tour by John Sellers, this Saturday morning starting at 9:30. And if you intend to take this tour, be sure and meet behind City Hall as the group will gather. Let's find out more from John Sellers.
Well, this is our 12th semi-annual. This is 9:30 Saturday morning. And as always, I try to do a little bit different, try to emphasize different areas of our wonderful downtown area. And we're going to start outside of our new renovated City Hall, right behind City Hall, because I want to emphasize Main Street and Conley Street, both the business districts and the residential district of Conley, because that was such an important area in the early development of the town.
Okay. So people who want to go on your History by Foot tour need to do what to be able to take this exclusive tour?
Thank you for asking. And we're getting really full, but I have a few spots left. You need to call the bank at City National Bank at 885-7523 or stop by there. It's $10 per person. Or you can call the Genealogical Society, which is 885-8523, or email me at sellersj1 at verizon.net. Excuse me, sellersj1, all lowercase, at verizon.net.
Okay.
But we're getting really full. But anyway, really exciting. I really enjoy doing them. I always try to feature some new things. That's the area of town also where the stockade was. And we're going to talk a little bit about the stockade and then talk about where the original, funny that we're starting at City Hall now, we're going to talk a little bit over on Main Street about where the original City Hall and fire station, and where a lot of people remember the area where the water tower and the edge of the spring lot, and then some of the hotels. There were several hotels in different eras in that era, because that is near, of course, where the spring lot was, and where we did have some springs and some sulfur springs at one time that was used as a health resort. So I just think it's good on these tours always to go back to where the cradle of our town started, and that's not the square, but down on Main Street in Conley.
Sounds like the name of a song, Down on Main Street. And every town's got one, but ours is so special. But I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
So, was there a spring inside of a hotel? You may not want to
Well, I can tell you this. They built a bathhouse over a spring that was in the spring lot. It wasn't exactly, I don't believe they had the hotel right there. Then there was the Glasscock Hotel, which was on the north side of the main street, which had a spring that came right beside it, and there's a stone that marked that, which is now down at the Heritage Museum. But I'll talk more about that on my tour.
You'll have to go on the tour to hear the full story on
Right.
that.
And there's a little mystery story that I hadn't shared before about how we nearly lost City Hall to an individual over a civil suit. And I'll talk a little bit about that, the original City Hall.
So you're just going to do one tour?
Yes, I'm only doing one this time at 9:30, which is, and someone said somewhere they were publishing, I don't even want to say it out loud because then it'll think, but it's 9:30. It's not, I normally do some at 10, but this is 9:30 because I have to go to Tyler to do a genealogical seminar at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So I have a double thing going on that day. So I have to get out of town and go to Tyler and then get back home.
Well, I think you're going to have a lot of people wanting to go on this tour.
Well, I do. I already have 20 plus that have signed up. So
and your limit is
to 30.
Like
and I do that because it's not that I want to cut it off, other than I think it's not fair to people when it gets too big, and it's harder to hear and it's harder to kind of gather around some places. So I like to cut it off around 30. But don't despair. There's going to be more walks, of course. So
very, very interesting. So 12th semi-annual.
Right, 12th
so
semi-annual.
You've been, doing it 6 years?
6 years. For the history by foot for the DBA, I've done 2 a year for 6 straight years, and that's been very great. Now, I've done, as you know, some other with some local restaurants and other entities at night, and which is a different deal, and I will continue to do some of those. But as far as the Downtown Business Alliance, we've been doing this 6 years, twice a year, and they've been very successful.
And so tell us a little bit more about DBA.
DBA is a downtown business organization. However, it's emphasizing what's going on downtown and the celebration of downtown and having events coming to Sulphur Springs, not just downtown. And we encourage people that aren't even necessarily downtown to be members, because we're just trying to promote that area of town as well as the other areas of town to get tourist trade and to have more events in Sulphur Springs. And it's an organization, I think it's been going on about 10 years, and it just got through with a very successful car show last weekend, which is one of their major fundraisers. But anyway, it's a good organization promoting downtown, working with the chamber and everything else that we have.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Lady Cats basketball team lost their season opener to a sharp-shooting Winsboro team, 63-57, Tuesday night in Wildcat Gym. I talked with Lady Cats basketball coach Jeff Chapman Wednesday morning.
First game, being the first game, it was kind of a little difficult. Winsboro has great tradition, and they have a good squad. If you told me to hit 11 threes, I didn't know it was that many, but they hit some threes, and I got to believe during the course of the season we don't allow that again. Our defense is just not where we want it to be right now, and it's to be expected. 4 practices together. We just started going up and down full court when volleyball came, so we'll get together. My view on that, before I knew the statistics on the threes, was that they forced 18 turnovers or 16, and then we were 19 for 41 on free throws. That's a big difference just right there. We started the game out really good. We were playing well, had a good lead, but we got to maintain that same momentum when I substitute and have different girls in the game, and it was tough. It's tough to gel in 4 practices. All in all, we played good in spots. And you know, that's to be expected. First game, some of the girls we haven't reviewed a lot on a 3-quarter, half-court trap. That hurt us. We ready for the full court press. We've been working against that. But then the 3-quarter trap, we didn't quite have that together. We know we have a press breaker for it, but I couldn't get the girls to rotate to the right areas to break it. It was a zone, and you needed to be in a certain area. We played a little fast against it. They made us speed up tempo. He went from a full court press to a 3-quarter. And so those are good things. I tend to do that too when we've had more reps.
Very impressed with Sadavia Porter. Her speed, they just had no answer for that, really.
They just knocked her down a couple times, fouled her, grabbed her. Yeah.
Grabbed jersey.
Yeah. She was, you know, I was impressed with some of the things she's doing as a sophomore that she didn't do as a freshman. And that's to be expected. You want to hope and pray that she improves in those areas, because she has the ability and speed, but she just didn't know she had it. And now she's a little more confident. She's trusting herself.
It's just a matter of kind of knocking the rust off. You know, that kind of looked like a first game for
It's
a lot
funny.
of those players.
It's funny you say that, because the guy, when I spoke to Don this morning, Don Wallace, the Winsboro coach walked in and he said, "How many practices have you guys had?" And his first question, he said 1, and I said, "No, 4." He said, "Well, you guys are gonna be rusty." He said, "I'm counting on that." and I knew it. That's something that the players couldn't do anything about, and I can't do anything about right at this point. So it just takes time. I thought that we did a lot of things well, being they just came from volleyball 4 practices ago.
You have a week now. You should have a lot of practice days going into North Lamar next Tuesday. And
Hold up. We are trying to set up a game Saturday, and we got it set up, but we don't know where it's going to be played yet, there or here.
Oh, okay.
But Saturday, we're going to start varsity at 10, and JV or freshmen to follow. But only because we didn't have it set up. He thought I was on the schedule because we played last year around this day. I'm sorry, this is Raines, Emory Raines.
Okay.
Emory Raines. But I didn't have him on schedule. So because I did not, put it out on the original schedule, some of the girls have conflicts. So we were trying to find a time slot where we could still play and try to get better on Saturday. And then the 15th, we'll play.
With must-win games the past 2 weeks in district play, a by-district game may feel just like a continuation of that. At a weekly media gathering, Wildcats football coach Greg Owens talked about the Wildcats and by-district opponent, the Mesquite Poteet Pirates.
I mean, it's been a good week. I mean, we've challenged them this week about playoffs and how the tempo just goes up. As you know, last 3 weeks, we've been in kind of a tempo mode somewhat, but it's a little bit different when everything is just focused on the varsity and there's not JV stuff going on, freshman stuff going on, everybody's scattered. It's all one focus. So this week we've invited our JV guys to come up. Most of them have accepted. And so we'll have about, on our roster, roughly 80 kiddos that'll be making the trip with us and a part of it and helping us prepare and do all those things for it. So it's been a good week. I mean, we dealt with some rain, so we've been inside Monday, Tuesday, so we'll stay inside today as well. Field's been pretty mushy out there, and so Wednesday's our normal day inside anyway, so we're just kind of keeping a routine there. But kids seem focused. It's pretty sharp. It's not an overcomplicated game plans on either side. It's just about us lining up, playing football, and getting after it, and we're just kind of feeding off the last couple of weeks. We've challenged them in the Greenville, step up and play, and get after it, and they did. Hallsville, winner is in. And so that was the whole deal. You win, you're in. So it was a deal. I'm proud of our kids, the way they played in the Hallsville game, did a super job, did what we had to do, accomplished it, and that was a big deal. That was bigger than just a win, really. It was just a confidence thing, I think, for our kids. Here's something you have to do. Go out and accomplish that and do that to help achieve your goals that you want to achieve. So, I mean, that was a big deal. Now, this week, you play a very talented Poteet team. As I watch the video, as you talk to coaches about them, the first thing that jumps off the page is how athletic they are. and extremely athletic on both sides of the ball, especially defensive. Very active defensive front, and you probably visited with our coordinators this week, and they're just athletic and move. They're not overly big. They're a good sized offensive line. Got a couple of 300-pounders, and some guys that move. They know what they're doing. They got a talented running back, talented quarterback, some talented receivers. The quarterback's we've heard is going to committed to the University of Texas to play baseball. So D1 kid is extremely athletic. Seen one of those guys before in Marshall. It's going A&M play some baseball. Yeah. So, anytime you're talking about a D1 kid, they're extremely athletic. And so he's a gifted young man. So they're really carried by their defense. Their defense sets the tone for their entire team. And so they do a lot of stuff, even up front, moving guys. They'll bring blitzes from all over the place. So they'll make it dirty, we call it, in there, and mess up the box and all that kind of stuff and try to confuse you. So we've got to line up and do our thing, lock on people, and methodically move the ball down the field, which is what we've been doing in the past. So the past couple of games anyway, and done a good job of that. So, we have different comparisons in the office. I think Matt really compares their defense to Texas High. How they're athletic, can move around and those kind of things, and then Tristan's kind of comparing their offense really to Marshall, with the running back, but this kid can throw. He's different. He's a little bit different athlete than the Marshall kid. He's athletic, can run. The Marshall kid's probably a little more athletic, more physical, and more dynamic runner, but this young man still has great wheels, but he also has a very good arm. But they just seems like the video I've watched, they found ways to win ball games by getting turnovers, blocking punts, doing all those kind of things and just getting after you. I don't know that they've hit big plays on you. I don't know if I've really seen them settle in yet and really methodically move their offense. Their offense looked like it just hasn't clicked 100% yet and being smooth in ball games. But to say that, they're winning, and they're doing a great job. And again, athletic, can move around. On defense, I think I counted up, they've got 9 seniors, which is a big deal. And they're consistent. On offense, at times 7 or 8 seniors. 4 of those seniors are offensive linemen, a senior quarterback. So those things are big deals too. 2 senior running backs, 1 senior receiver that are consistently playing. So all that stuff means experience. All that stuff means confidence. All that stuff means these kids know what they're doing, and they're hungry, and it's their senior year, and so they'll be playing with a lot of that. So it's a good group. Enjoy getting to know the coach over there. We spent some time with him in the off season, studying his defense a little bit. So we have some components of his defense and ours, and they do a great job over there. So it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Groves about it, asked him about his defense, and he was talking about all the returning starters. They had like 2 in the D-line, 2 linebackers, both corners. I think their safeties, well, they had 1 safety that was really good, but he's their good running back now.
Yeah,
so.
Well, they've got two junior safeties, and everybody else is seniors.
Yeah.
The guys we have pegged as starters. So there's 9 of them, from their 4 defensive linemen to the 4 linemen. I mean, they're just good-looking kiddos.
Yeah, he said they had good size, that they weren't real big, but they
move.
They look like football players, and they really can move.
They're thick kids, can run around, and they do a great job of getting off blocks. I mean, they really do. I mean, they're very active up front. So, they're trying to junk it up in there all the time. So we got to lock on guys, create holes, and go. And we're going to have some bad plays because they're going to get some penetration at times too. Yeah. That's what they kind of live off of. And so they're really doing a lot of stuff on first down, trying to put you in a hole and force your hand on second, third down where they can play more coverage stuff. So we got to be smart about what we're doing with that and take our shots when we can.
As we well know, there's nothing like a third-year quarterback, that's been around since he was a sophomore. So, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he understands their offense, and they've not had a lot of change over there coaching staff-wise. It's been good and consistent, so those kids have been doing the same thing, and they've had a lot of success. I think Coach Groves was on Randy Jackson's staff when Randy went there from Lone Oak, and Randy kind of turned that whole program, and they've had a ton of success from then. And Mesquite continues to get a lot of athletes in all their schools and all their programs, and they're a very talented group that can really run and get after you. And again, like you said, a seasoned, disciplined group that knows what they're doing. That's a tough challenge.
All right.
On their offense, are they a spread type team, or?
Yeah, okay. They base out of a spread.
Okay.
They're going to be in a gun, 1 back. They'll put 2 back in there. I mean, it's just a multiple stuff. They do a good job of putting you in a bind. They'll run a swinging gate in the middle of the field. They'll run empty sets. They'll shift some guys. I mean, they just do various things to put you in a bind. They'll go unbalanced line, so that they put some little gimmick stuff in there with you to try to catch you and hit a home run for you. on you, and then just put you in the bind. Hopefully, get you caught in a shift somewhere in adjustment that you're outmatched. So kids got to be alert. Know who's on the end line of scrimmage. Is he eligible? Not eligible? And so we're not turning one scot-free down the field.
Are they even running past mix or?
I should know that, but I don't know that. I mean, they're more run heavy. They throw it a lot though. I mean, they take their shots. I mean, they really. He's so athletic. He breaks the pocket. It breaks down. He gets outside on you. And those guys, they're just athletic enough. He can get it down the field. Very good arm. Not always as accurate as you think he should be, but I'm going to guess because of just the junk balls and stuff they may throw, breakdown stuff, they're going to be close to 50-50. Okay. But they would prefer to run it, and a lot of those teams, they play Wiley East, they play West Mesquite. Those two really jump out at me. Highland Park, all those, all of them are just all crammed up in there together, and it's basically running the same stuff, kind of the B-back stuff we're running with an up-back, sometimes getting a two-back set, and they're just kind of pounding each other, and not really taking limited shots there. And in other games, they're wide open, got it all spread out, so they're just kind of beating each other to a pulp in there, and, every now and then they'll pop one.
On their defense, are they a 4-2-5 like you've been seeing, or the variation?
No, they're like us. I mean, they're 3 down. I think a while ago I misspoke. I said they're 4 down linemen, but they got 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and then they got the 4 linebacker system. So if you want to call that 3-4, a 5-2, whatever you want to call the thing, it's an odd front.
They probably creep up a little bit. Maybe.
Oh yeah, they're moving around all the time. They're showing blitzes, and then they'll bring them and not bring them. They'll show and then back out. So. Those kind of things, when you can do that stuff on defense and you guys have enough confidence to know what they're doing, it gives offenses a little bit of trouble because you're making checks, you're looking at it, it causes you to get a little more vanilla and not because you don't want to turn guys loose and create turnovers. So it'll force your hand just a little bit on some of that stuff. But we've given our kids. I'm gonna tell you, talking about practice this week. Our JV group has done a great job at simulating what they do and just having a fun time with it. I don't know if it's a change of weather. I don't know if it's the playoff deal. I don't know, but it's been a fun week, and our kids have had a really good time. And we've tried to sell it to our younger kids too. They know they're not going to get to play in the ball game, but it's like teams that go to bowl games. You get extra practices. And that's what we're selling to these kiddos too. These are extra practices. You have an opportunity. If you come in the right frame of mind instead of I got to go make the varsity better. No, I'm coming to get better, and I'm going against the varsity because we're still evaluating these young kids too. Towards we get closer to spring ball, if we decide to do that, or as we get on into the next phase of kiddos. So they're making good impressions, and they're also showing us what they can kind of do, and they're having fun with it. And the defense, like I go back to the defense group, we got wristbands we put on our kiddos for the scout team stuff. So this is a fun defense for them. They get to jump around and not just sit there. So they get to blitz a lot and do those kind of things, and it's been fun for them. And they've had a good time and done a good job with it this week.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.